Coming up on Network Africa, Boko Haram strikes again in Cameroon. 6 people are massacred. But thankfully, the government soldiers killed 12 militants as they managed to repel the attack. Then the death toll from the heat wave in Egypt climbs from 61 to 76. All 76 people died this week, and most of the dead were elderly. It's our Africa Tech edition of the program, and we're joined by the co-founder of Womunize, a notification system for nursing mothers. Hello and welcome to Network Africa on Channels Television with me, Cynthia Are. The Boko Haram insurgents have struck again. This time around, Cameroon bore the brunt. Thankfully, government soldiers repelled the attack, killing 12 of the insurgents in the process. But it came at the cost of 6 villagers who were massacred in the process. The raid was launched during the night from Wednesday to Thursday on the village of Blame in Cameroon's far north region, where the Nigerian Islamists have stepped up attacks in recent months. Cameroon has deployed thousands of soldiers in its northern border areas as part of a military operation aimed at curbing the spillover of violence from Boko Haram strongholds in northeast Nigeria. Still talking about security, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, appears to have run out of patience concerning the war on terror and has directed service chiefs to end the insurgency in 3 months. The President gave the directive while swearing them in at the presidential villa on Thursday. He also reminded them of the impending task of stopping the Boko Haram insurgents, saying, quote, "You are all aware of the various security challenges facing our nation. These challenges include the activities of Boko Haram terrorists, armed banditry, kidnapping, militancy of various forms, to mention a few," unquote. He also charged the newly appointed service chiefs in the country to be accountable for the men and equipments under their commands, and also ensure that the morale of the men is always at its peak. Well, we're joined from London right now by preventive terrorism expert, Mr. Temitope Olodo. Mr. Olodo, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. And now, as a preventive terrorism expert, is it realistic to put a timeline on countering terrorism?
I think it's important to clarify the statement of Mr. President. He actually made it clear that it's his desired outcome. So there's a big difference between a desired outcome and an ultimatum. I don't think, based on my analysis and based on things I've seen on the ground, that we have the capacity, the relevant security infrastructure to deliver the final blow to Boko Haram. We will be able to reduce, the incident of insurgency in the country in the next 3 months, which we are doing already. But I don't think we could eradicate Boko Haram completely, because eradicating Boko Haram is one point, but stopping Islamic radicalization is another point. And that's the reason why people need to distinguish between the two. The people could go, because the sleeper cells could go quiet and not do anything, but yet the violence extremism initiative will still continue to brew on the ground. And that's the reason why, if we want to destroy Boko Haram completely, we need to make sure that we have the proper infrastructure to support it.
Now, what exactly is the proper infrastructure? We've seen a lot of traveling done by the president in order to gather support. So what exactly do we need to see in place to at least get to a significant degree of progress in 3 months' time?
I think the first The first task is for the military to be fit for purpose, which they are working on at the moment. The leadership structure has been changed in order to ensure that at the background level they have the necessary skill set to be able to deliver the work that needs to be delivered. But I think we need the police to come on board and to be effective enough to handle the internal security. We need proper urban security strategy in place. We need proper de-radicalization process for people identified to have violence extremist thoughts so that they could be deconstructed. We need, civilian military relationship at a very high level so that intelligence will be gathered effectively to intercept and to disrupt future activities. If you look at the United States, the United Kingdom, and other countries that have suffered from terrorism activities, they've never said that they stopped Boko Haram, they stopped the Al-Qaeda or other group. What they have said is that they've reduced them and they'll be able to intercept them before they could actually commit any other atrocity. And I think that is the approach and methodology we need to adopt.
Now, speaking of the approach, just before I let you go, I do have to ask at this point, what are your thoughts on this new leader of the Boko Haram who has emerged, that was confirmed by the Chadian president, Idris Deby? I believe he goes by the name of Mamat Daldou, and we're being told that he is keen on negotiating. What are your thoughts on that scenario, basically?
I think it's a welcome news that Mohammed Shikau is out of the picture. I think, but we must not underestimate Boko Haram activities. I think we need to understand that these groups are in different phases. They have different commanders, and what we need is a collective effort to ensure that every one of them, drop their weapons and move down the route of peace. I think the fact that he is willing to drop down his weapon means that at least 80% of the group will follow him. But we must understand that there are other people that are hardcore within the group that will not lay down their arms, and that is where the military come in to ensure that they are wiped off or completely taken out of action.
Oh, Mr. Temitope Olodo, thank you very much for your time. As always, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Preventive terrorism expert Mr. Temitope Olodo speaking to us from London. Well, still to come on Network Africa. The death toll from the heat wave in Egypt climbs from 61 to 76. All 76 people died this week, and most of the dead were elderly.